Welcome to our show. I'm Peyton Malsh, this is Emily's son, and
Hey.
Jenna Levy.
Hey. Today we will be talking about a very controversial topic, psychopathy and sociopathy.
Nurture versus nature, nature versus nurture. I don't really know which one.
In our case, we will be discussing how nature versus nurture affects children and if it affects them when they become adults.
We will be discussing strange personalities and how they can be caused by psychopathy and severe attachment disorders.
To start this off, we will begin with a slightly disturbing story about a little girl named Beth.
Beth was abandoned and raped as a baby by her birth father. After losing her birth mother, at age 6.5, she was then adopted by a priest and his wife, and started exhibiting very strange and disturbing behaviors.
Beth started wanting to kill people at night, so her parents had to actually lock her door shut from the outside because of how scared they were that she would come and kill them at night.
Yeah, it's kind of upsetting how her family is scared of the little girl.
I know.
It's only 6.5 years old.
I mean, before locking her door, she would have nightmares at night and wake up and go into her brother's room and beat him until her parents noticed that her little brother had bruises all over his stomach. So they went to a drastic measure and had to lock her into a room at night.
This is a clip of Beth speaking about her violent desires.
Are they afraid that you might hurt them?
Yep.
Would you, Beth?
Mm-hmm.
When would you do it?
Nighttime.
Okay. Why would you do nighttime?
Because I don't like them seeing me do it. But they can feel me do it.
Mm-hmm. And what would you do to them, Beth?
Stab them.
Okay. What would you stab them with?
A knife.
Oh my god, this girl is crazy. To want to kill your own parents, there has to definitely be something wrong in your childhood to make you want to do these things.
I mean, I definitely got chills while she was talking.
Yeah, it was
she
so
just
creepy.
the way she says it.
And I just felt like
That one
crawling
line.
into a hole, like falling up.
I mean, if I were her parents, I'd agree with the locking her in the room thing.
Yeah, that's definitely.
They definitely have a reason for
I mean,
that.
even though she's 6.5, I think that's her age, I would still be scared. I think she definitely seems capable of actually killing them.
Yeah, that's the weird thing too. Usually 6.5-year-olds don't really think about killing people with knives. Like, it really shows how the raping of her father really impacted her life now and how she thinks and the way she processes things. And, like, I bet you when she sees something in life like a desk, she probably thinks of ways she can kill people with it.
I mean, honestly,
Yes.
just to think that, like, there's, like, that one part of her life, just, like, one moment like that, like, not moment, but, like, time period of, like, being raped by her father can just affect everything and make her that kind of psychotic and emotionally out of it.
But the weird thing is her brother isn't like that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
Yeah,
that's because, like, he was younger and, like, I don't think he got as, like, raped like she did and other things like that, but, like, honestly, like, it's still bad.
On top of the violence that she has, she also has some weird sexual tendencies. And here's another clip of her speaking about that.
Does your brother have private parts?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is his private parts?
Penis and butt.
Mm-hmm. And what do you do with your brother with his private parts, Beth?
I heard it.
Tell me about it. What do you do?
Now, I pinch it. Squeeze it. Kick it.
When you do things to your brother's private parts, what does he say?
Stop.
Okay, tell me that.
Well, he says stop, but I don't stop.
Wow. I don't know about you guys, but when I was 6.5 years old, I did not know about private parts, and
Not even a little.
Like, I didn't even think about them. So this is pretty insane.
I only knew what a butt was, so I don't even know what to say that.
That's just, the way she talks about it is just so, like, she almost sounds, like, mature, but at the same time, I mean, she's talking about, like, hurting him.
Yeah,
Like that, so.
I heard. Didn't you someone told me that psychopaths are a lot more intelligent than regular people?
Yeah,
and
like, they
mature
seem more
much
intelligent, they
faster?
seem more, like, polite.
They have a different way of thinking, that's why.
Yeah. I mean, like, one of the things, like, a normal 6-year-old wouldn't think about killing people and doing those kind of things to people.
Yeah, this is insane. Like, I'm definitely sleeping with the light on tonight.
I mean, obviously this has everything to do with her birth father and how he treated her, but, I mean, there could possibly be some kind of genetic side, but I think this is mostly the nurture side of psychopathy.
Yeah, I mean, not everyone who's raped as a child acts like Beth does.
But there could be possibly a genetic side to this as well, because Beth was abandoned by her mother and raped by her father as a baby. She was never able to create a bond between anybody.
And this leads to that kind of sociopathic behavior?
Yeah, this kind of emotional disorder is referred to as attachment disorder and can really be serious in these certain cases.
Beth's a serious case, right?
Yeah, I mean, that kind of violence and sexual tendencies is definitely a serious case, or at least I hope so.
Yeah. I get what you guys are saying about how our genetics are involved, but I don't think this is like a really big part in her case because when Beth had help and she grew up, she turned out to be a completely normal person. And someone with a genetic like mutation that would cause sociopathy would not be able to get help and like be able to be normal later in their life.
Yeah, it's ironic because as an adult, Beth became a pediatric nurse and lives a normal life now.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, going from that kind of childhood and that kind of behavior to taking care of sick children for a living seems kind of ironic.
Yeah. This change in her personality really shows how nurture can impact someone's life.
Even though Beth's psychopathy was caused by events in her childhood, it doesn't mean that every kind of psychopath has a terrible childhood.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know about Ted Bundy, but he had a great childhood and he grew up with a normal family with Christian values and lived a normal life.
Yeah, to Ted this didn't matter. He grew up to become a psychopath and a murderer. Ted raped and killed more than 100 women and one man.
Now we're going to play a clip of Ted Bundy talking about how pornography fueled his violent intentions.
This kind of literature contributed and helped mold and shape the kinds of violent behavior.
It fueled your fantasies, didn't it?
Well, in the beginning, it fuels this kind of thought process. Then, at a certain time, it's instrumental in what I would say crystallizing it, making it into something which is almost like a separate entity inside.
So I know that how we're using Ted Bundy as an example of how he was like kind of born with being psychotic, but like with the pornography, it sounds like it was kind of his surroundings, which is nurture.
Yeah, so psychopaths could be both from nurture and nature, which is his case.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds to me like even though it was probably mostly nature, or so they think, that nurture still plays a role in everything, because even though he had this normal upbringing, he became a psychopath, and that there was some kind of nurture that led to that, the pornography. So in most cases, it's both.
But it's kind of like the pornography triggered something in his genetic makeup.
It just fueled him.
It fueled him,
gave
yeah.
It seems like nature like made like the initial thing, and then pornography kind of was like the nurture that kind of pushed it over the edge into like this kind of psychotic
like rampage. He wanted a psychotic
and
rampage.
it's not just nurture; it's also his lifestyle, which his lifestyle was him choosing to watch that and him.
Yeah, he told me that, he told the interviewer that he actually would dig through the trash to try and find, like, pornographic movies and magazines and stuff like that.
I mean, it also sounds like this is kind of like an early kind of like expression of his psychopathic nature, like that he was digging through trash, he was obsessed with pornography. It seems like at a young, like even here, you can see that like there's something wrong with him.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. In order to dig deeper into the so-called warrior gene that Ted Bundy had, we went and talked to a bio teacher, Mrs. Marchini.
We asked Mrs. Marchini, as a scientist, if she knew anything about the warrior gene that could help us in the Ted Bundy case.
I think there definitely needs to be more research. Do I think that the gene could exist? Yes. I think that there could be a gene that could attribute to aggressive behavior and, you know, mass murder. But I also think that environment has a huge impact on that too. I think that the combination of both genetic and environment definitely attribute to your personality or what you express.
While many scientists believe that the warrior gene has to do with a lot of psychopaths, there is still more research that should be done.
Going off of what Mrs. Marchini said, our next story is about a mafia hitman who was also a psychopath. And although he could have some possible genetic side of his psychopathy, like the warrior gene, most of his story is nurture because he was abused by his father as a kid.
And also his